Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Drone Wars. Here in front of us we can see the board, and the Pirate Empire is definitely winning by a huge amount here. They have probably maybe around 30 planets or so. Delta Shipyards and the Federation seem to be struggling fighting against each other, but the Federation does seem to be in a good position as they seem to be able to get behind the enemy lines, which could work in their favor. They might actually be able to survive this. Delta Shipyards, on the other hand, they're not in a good spot as they have multiple very powerful Federation fleets against their borders. And of course, they're kind of just surrounded on all sides by enemy forces, so they're going to need to find some way of escaping. We're just going to go through the three remaining factions and see what decisions they make today and see which factions actually might continue to survive here. Alright, so almost immediately the Federation is going on the offensive. So the Federation has decided to send one of their fleets from here all the way over here to the Turalis city. And, well, they really don't like that there's a shipyard over here, so they're going to go and take on this cruiser and try to eliminate this shipyard. I don't know about you, but I don't think that cruiser is going to last very long. It might be able to do a little bit of damage, but overall I don't think its chances are very good. And from there the Federation might continue to expand and take more of Delta Shipyard's valuable planets. Well, here we are on Turalis, and over here you can see that the Federation fleet is sitting here. Got a pretty interesting setup here as they're putting most of their armor up front, lots of fighters around to support the fleet. Off in the distance over here we actually have Delta Shipyards. They're just one cruiser, and this cruiser is going to do whatever it can to actually, well, they're going to try to do whatever they can to defeat this fleet. We're going to go ahead and we're going to declare war here. We're going to see if they can successfully pull this off here. You can see it, some missiles are being fired. There's definitely a lot of definitely a lot going on here. Point defenses are already in action here. And multiple of those missiles are going after the Baron over here. Definitely trying to take out those shields. Let me try something real quick. Alright, there's a lot of fighters moving in over here. You can see some missiles are continuing to move forward. The Duke over there is actually leaving the Baron to fend for itself as it tries to move in. You can see his fighters are now starting to get within range, which is going to be fatal if it's not careful. There's a lot of railgun fire coming in as well. There is a lot of missiles here, and just this one cruiser to absorb it all. And now these fighters are starting to move in here as well. There's lots of railgun coming in to try doing as much damage as possible to these fighters. But at this point I think there's just too many for this one ship to deal with. See all these fighters moving in. They might actually end up cutting the ship in half if they continue to fire like that. So more missiles being fired, but even with all those missiles, I don't think it's going to be enough as all these fighters are just tearing through the hull. There's definitely some missiles moving around here. If they're lucky, then those missiles might actually be able to take out the shields here. But if not, then it's just going to be a struggle. The ship is trying to do some evasive maneuvers here. Unfortunately, its shields have gone out, so it has taken some damage. You can see that this cruiser is still trying to move forward as chunks are being taken out of it. And actually these fighters are attacking it from behind, so it's probably not going to last all that long here. This main engines are being completely wiped out. Yeah, I don't think this cruiser is going to last much longer here. There we go, more pieces of it are just falling apart here. It's lost most of its upwards thrust, so it should be going down now. The entire front of the ship just got torn off by that. And the rest is just gonna fall into the water here. I think this is a clear victory for the Federation. Two carriers seem to be perfectly fine, so not many losses here. So we're just going to return to the board and update it, and we're going to see what the Federation continues to do with their other actions. Alright, so with the end of this battle over here, the Federation has successfully taken over that Delta Shipyards planet, and they've made that into kind of a stronghold, just to kind of hold on to it as best they can. Then with their other two actions, they decided to move some other fleets around to kind of take over more Delta Shipyards land, so they moved the fleet over here, took over that shipyard, so that's no longer there. Then they've gone ahead and they've conquered another planet, I believe somewhere down here. Yeah, I believe it was this one that they conquered. No, it wasn't that one. This one, yeah. So they've taken over the Reach ice flats with their fighter fleet over here, just avoiding combat with the pirates and mostly just trying to deal with Delta Shipyards so that way they can boost their income and not have to deal with them as much. So that's all the actions from the Federation completed. Delta Shipyards, on the other hand, they really do not like that, so they are going to go ahead and attack some of the Federation worlds here with their last fleet here. They're going to take on this fortress world and see if they can obtain it. Then from there, we'll see if they build up some new fleets or if they continue to try to expand. Maybe a bit of both. We'll find out. Alright, we are here on Salos, and over here, yeah, we're on Salos with the canyon, or not canyon, valley. You can see the fortress is right over there, and these are the 3 ships they're going to attack. I'm going to go ahead and declare war here so we can observe if they're going to win this battle. So they're going to need to make use of all 3 ships to try to beat this fortress effectively. That probably didn't hit. I actually don't know if that hit or not. But you can see why they need to work as a group. If they aren't careful, they're going to lose their more powerful ships and not be able to take this fortress. So of course the cruiser is going to go high up to try to avoid the main cannon over there, while the corvettes go in and try to be a diversion that's going to go and take out that main cannon as soon as possible. Those shots are actually being a lot more accurate, so I don't know if that cruiser's going to last long at this rate. Yeah, I think wherever it hit, it might have actually taken out an AI block. You can see one corvette's been taken out. See, his corvette is trying. It's doing some evasive maneuvers here. That's another corvette down. Now all that's left is that cruiser out here, which seems to have taken some pretty major damage. Pretty sure its AI blocks. No, its AI blocks are active, it's just deciding not to move. Either that or something critical has been hit. But this ship is definitely not going to last long as that laser keeps hitting it, so I think the battle here is lost for Delta Shipyards. We're just going to return back to the board, record that as a loss, and we're going to see if Delta Shipyards builds up some new fleets. Alright, so with Delta Shipyards lost over there, they didn't have any more fleets, so they had to go back to their planet over here and build a new fleet. And then they're going to use their last action to go and take over, or try to take over, this fortress world over here in the gas giant rings. This is going to be an interesting battle. This is pretty much just a fortress in space versus a carrier and some other ships around. So this will be a unique battle. After this, we're going to see what the Pirate Empire does against the other factions here. Alright, we are here at the Gas Giant. There's a fortress all the way down there, roughly about 9 kilometers away. Over here you can see all these ships are ready for battle. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to declare war and see what they do here. So almost immediately all these ships are going to have to try to move in and try to do whatever they can. Since this is space, they might be able to take advantage of a blind spot. The carrier has already been hit, so that's not good. But there's still plenty of fighters going around to try doing whatever they are able to. All these other ships are charging in. That carrier is going to need to do whatever it can to get close to do way more damage. See, there's already some weapons firing here. The Corvette and the fighters are moving in, and the Corvette is basically just being a shield for the fighters to get in close. Massive hit. That carrier is definitely not looking too good, as some of these shots are going all the way through. It's going to need to get in closer to do more damage. Starting to get in range here. All these fighters are getting close enough to actually use their weapons, which are going to do a fairly decent amount of damage here. That carrier is going to do whatever it can to dispel these missiles. They're getting close enough to do more actual damage. There's definitely missiles being fired at all the fighters nearby. Of course, I think the Corvette may have gone down here, which isn't great. But that carrier should be able to do the damage it needs to do to take over this fortress. Now just a torrent of bullets are just going forward and eliminating the turrets here. The turret there is struggling to function as it might have taken some damage. Surprised there are still fighters out here doing whatever they can. Carrier is out there keeping its distance and firing whatever it can. There's just that one turret left. And yeah, that fortress is now completely eliminated. We'll take a look and see if there's any surviving fighters. I'm actually surprised the Corvette's still alive. As for fighters, I don't think there were any. Well, that's one. That's two. This one doesn't really have any forward thrust, but there are surprisingly 2 fighters that survived. Maybe 3. Not just a 2. That one's not really flying. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and end this battle here, and we're going to see what the Pirate Empire does. Alright, so we're back into the board, and the Pirate Empire decided that they're not going to try to dive into combat, necessarily. They're going to try to take over undefended worlds, and they're just going to move some fleets around. So I guess one of their first actions was that they've moved their fleet that was at the corner over here. They've just moved it over just by one, so that way you can get a little bit closer to everything else. Then what they've also done is that, well, if I try to remember correctly, they have taken over 2 planets. The first of which was, I believe, this one here, the Trident Ice Flats. And they've turned that into a fortress world over here, taking lands from the Federation, pushing them further in. And over here, they're actually took over this planet over here, taking planets from Delta Shipyards. And I believe what they're trying to do is they're trying to connect these two together so they can divide this into 2 pieces and surround it. Which could be interesting, but that can also work against them if the Federation decides to move their other fleets around. But for now, most of the action is going on in this corner over here. This is kind of tricky, but on the other hand, both Delta Shipyards and the Federation do have some stronger fleets now. I mean, the Delta Shipyards has their own carrier, and the Federation has multiple carrier fleets. Mostly dealing with Delta Shipyards at the moment, but they might actually be able to do some more damage and be able to fight back against the Pirate Empire if they use those resources properly. But if possible, maybe the Federation could save up enough resources to build other larger ships than just normal carriers. But we'll have to see in the next episode. If you guys are really interested in this series and you want to actually participate in the next season, there is a Discord down in the description. Without further ado, I guess that's all for this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and take care.